I have even requested that I would like to speak to the caucus and even attend a retreat in Chankwanzi. Now, the caginess is exposing some of the short-sightedness which is residing in some of the NRM leaders.
To me, as chairperson of the meeting, that remains rumors, and he was not invited in today's meeting.
All clear signs show that Norbert MAO is still fighting to get a place in government, and he is negotiating in a right way. Norbert MAO has come out to ask the NRM that he should join the NRM caucus. And if you ask me, that is a masterstroke. He wants to catch the eye of the president, General Kaguta Museveni. We all know that Anita MAO has more chances of retaining the speakership, although Norbert MAO is a better option. But Norbert MAO coming out to request the NRM brigade to join the NRM parliamentary caucus is a masterstroke on his side. In fact, Norbert MAO said these statements.
I've even requested that I would like to speak to the caucus and even attend a retreat in Chankwanzi. Now, the caginess is exposing some of the short-sightedness which is residing in some of the NRM leaders. So, I do believe that if we are to go forward, we need an honest conversation. And of course, I expect that we shall have that conversation with the President of Uganda, who is the national chairman of the NRM.
That is Norbert MAO. First, you clearly see that Norbert MAO joined government in a pretext of bringing change, in a pretext of trying as a panacea to solve the bad government. But as time goes on, you clearly see that they joined government maybe to benefit from the dictatorship. It is the truth. And if you ask me, he is a good player in getting what he wants. Because even the cooperation he waves ended in before 2026. He ought to have signed another cooperation. But even away from that, for the reason as to why I cry very much is the people who I thought were holding forth to bring change are the people who have disappointed us more. Because, trust me, Norbert MAO is a wise person. Even when he says stupid things, sometimes I get shocked. I keep on asking what medicine Genome 7 uses to erase the wisdom of very many people after they try to work with him. So in the course of this video, I've come to talk about the willingness of Norbert MAO going in NRM parliamentary caucus, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're into this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagre. There's a lot of content of this nature. If politics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. One, Norbert MAO joined government in a cooperation that he waved to other opposition, telling them that they have failed to bring change. He was a panacea. He has given a docket of the Ministry of Justice. Of course, Genome 7 has never changed. There are very many people who spoke like Norbert MAO, and Genome 7 has brought them in NRM to show them that they are nothing. In fact, I keep on telling people that Genome 7 does not appoint opposition members because they are wise, that they are going to bring something. He appoints opposition members to show that he's eating out the opposition, because he's sure by 2026 they are not going to be opposition. So in a bid to do that, he will take away opposition figures like Norbert MAO. And some also opposition figures fail to understand that they are going in the NRM is not important. In fact, I saw Norbert MAO saying that the northern region voted for General Kaguta Museveni because of him, because he was scattering the vote, which is a lie. Even during Jacob Orange, the northern region voted for General Kaguta Museveni. That was in 2021 when Norbert MAO was a candidate. Even if Norbert MAO is not given any cabinet post, trust me, the northern region, Genome 7 knows a way how to get votes by brutality, beating people. blocking people from campaigning in some areas like how Bobby Wine it was, not because nobody was scattering the vote. In 2026, specifically in Gulu, we saw videos when Bobby Wine's entourage was being beaten. They blocked them from campaigning. Now nobody more cannot stand to tell that is the reasons why they voted for General Kaguta Museveni in North. But of course, Dr. MAO is wise. You know, if you are negotiating, you ask for something bigger so that even if you fail to get it, you can get something below it. The Speakership of Parliament, according to the order of precedence, is number 3. So after, I know they are going to reject it, they'll give him a cabinet slot and it will be retained in the cabinet. The reason I'm saying that even Norbert Mao and the DP are jokers, there is no single MP, whether on the DP ticket, those who are elected in Norbert Mao party, who has come out to endorse Norbert Mao. Even the actually parliamentary caucus headed by Akol has never endorsed Norbert Mao. That means he's unserious, the only person speaking about his candidate. Yet on the contrary, Anita Among knows how to use money, influence, and it is he mastered that. Almost each and every person has endorsed her. Of course, endorsement are not final. General Museveni calls the shots. Even if General Museveni called someone outside the parliament, because our law allows so, he can become speaker. So General Museveni, he called the last shot for who is going to become speaker. But of course, I understand that even General Museveni, since he wants to use the opposition, first he would want to pour out on Norbert Mao, saying that you are nothing. In fact, I may not be surprised if they don't call him in the parliamentary caucus, because the chief whip came out to say that he doesn't know whether Norbert Mao is being called. The chief whip said these statements.
To me, as chairperson of the meeting, that remains rumors, and he was not invited in today's meeting. But under the rules of procedure of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus, the chairperson of caucus can invite any member of opposition, even members of the media, but the decision that will be arrived at will only be arrived at by members of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus. And such a decision, if you are invited as a guest into the caucus meeting, will not be binding on you. If we had invited a member of opposition, we would attend. The decision we have taken would not be binding on him or her. So for that case, that remains rumors. He wasn't invited in today's meeting.
That is Amsonobo. So you clearly see that even Norbert Mao is not sure. The last time he held a press conference, he came out to say that he's going to talk to General Kaguta Museveni to see if they can be given a position. Even General Museveni has not met him. So you clearly see that General Museveni knows how to play cards. He will elevate you, you will think you're important. So you start crying. Even before you went an election, they used to cry out that they should work on another cooperation. General Museveni paid a deaf ear. So General Museveni is the one to call the strings on who is going to become the Speaker of Parliament. But the chances of Norbert Mao are slim. But also for me, I think Anita Among is the worst mistake. You rather give me anyone else, maybe Norbert Mao, maybe Tayewa, but Anita Among is the worst mistake. But also, since it is an authoritarian, I keep on telling people that those who get position remember very well, because there is a reason as to why the speakership has always been taken by people from the opposition. Maybe God is sending you a signal that you need to remember where you came from. Of course, this my name is truly Mr. Makinde. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.